Hey, Nish here, and today we're taking a quick look at the Vox Mini 5 Rhythm Practice portable guitar amp. Now this is technically a discontinued model, but you can still find them kicking around secondhand. This is a pretty small amp. It weighs in at just 3.5 kilograms. It has a maximum power output of 5 watts, and it can be powered by 6 AA batteries as well as a 12-volt adapter. All of the controls can be found on the top of the amp. It has a number of different amp models, around 10 different models to choose from. It has 2 banks of 4 effects, of which you can pick one at a time. So the first bank has a compressor, chorus, flanger, and tremolo, and then the second bank has analog delay, reverb, and another type of echo. A handy feature is the power is actually adjustable between 5 watts, 1.5 watts, and half a watt, so you can set up the sound how you like it and just reduce the volume without affecting the character of that sound. In terms of inputs and outputs, we of course have a 1/4-inch jack input for the guitar, but that can also serve as a line level input. There's a 3.5mm input for aux audio playing through the amp from another device, and you can also connect up headphones with the 3.5mm jack. The cool killer feature here, of course, is that this has a microphone input, so you can plug in a 1/4-inch jack microphone. It has its own independent volume, and it also has a send volume knob, so you can send that to the reverb and echo effect that you've got enabled. Finally, coming from the name of the amp, the Vox Mini 5 Rhythm, it has a full drum loop rhythm type machine, and there's something like 11 or 12 different styles, and sounds decent. I should mention I previously reviewed on this channel the Vox DA5, which was the model that came before this. There's a number of improvements that I like on the Mini 5 Rhythm compared to that. Firstly, you've got that drum machine that didn't exist on the DA5. Secondly, the mic input is improved because you've got the ability to send that to the reverb. It's always nice to get a little bit of reverb on vocals. And finally, instead of using C batteries, it uses AA batteries, which for me, they're a lot easier to find and a lot cheaper. Before I give a quick demo of some of the sounds, please subscribe if you like what you're seeing so far. It helps the video get out there and the channel to grow. So let's start off with something clean. And then let's add on some reverb and chorus. Here I've got more of a crunchy type sound. And finally something a bit more metal. And now let's stick on a load of delay and have a bit of soloing. As for the drum loops, here's some of the examples from there. So I sought out this amp because I wanted to use it for busking, and it's really one of the cheapest options I could find out there that has a dedicated mic input and also has that cool reverb send on that mic input. I used this extensively for a number of months and had a pretty good experience. It gets reasonably loud when battery powered by 6 AA batteries, although I did run into some problems sometimes with the driver getting overloaded and distorting a bit. Essentially what I was finding was happening when there was a lot of input to the driver, when it was at full volume on the 5 watts battery powered, it would start to artifact and it didn't sound great. So for example, when I had guitar and vocals at the same time, or when I was doing some live looping and I had quite an extensive loop with percussion and bass and other stuff, it would start to go a bit haywire. I did slowly start to notice this would be more common when the batteries started running out of juice. Now, while they claim that it lasts 12 hours at 5 watts with batteries, I found that maybe an hour or two it could it could go well and then it would start to degrade. So you need to bear that in mind. Although I was using fairly cheap Amazon Basics rechargeable AA batteries, so I'm not sure if that was a factor. Aside from that, at home, using the supplied power adapter, I had a really good experience. I think it works pretty well. You can keep it pretty quiet using the power options it's got. So let's conclude this very quick review. And for me, you know, I've had a really good experience with this amp. It's been great for me to try out busking. And honestly, at this price, it's amazing what you get for the money in terms of that mic input with the reverb. You've got a fairly serviceable drum loop machine that you can have a play around with, and it's super portable. I paid just 70 euros for this used, and when I compare it to some of the typical busking amps like a Roland Street Cube, you know, it's a quarter of the price. That being said, for me, long term, if busking is something I want to continue doing, I would want to upgrade this. Like I said, I had this issue with the artifacting noise sometimes when the batteries would start to run low, and I think that is a problem sometimes with amps where you power them with AA batteries. Once the batteries start to lose juice, you're going to have a degradation in the sound performance. So that is everything. I hope this quick review has been useful to let you know what this amp is capable of and what it isn't, and let me know what you think in the comments, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Subscribe for more To The Point content, and I'll catch you in the next one.